This is PappaZappa. I'm joined by my esteemed friend Bishop.
I'm Bishop. I'm back to talk some Halo with my buddy Zappa.
And he put it better than I would. Yeah, we're here for another Halo tier list. This time we're going to be ranking the Halo enemies in particular. So let's go ahead and get started with one that barely ever shows up. You know the official name for this one? I just called it a Super Sentinel, but
Enforcer
yeah,
Sentinels.
the Enforcer Sentinel. Now, they show up in like one or two levels of Halo 2. They're kind of
Yeah,
threatening. I really don't remember much about them. They're kind of mid, honestly. Like, I'd say C
they got
tier.
they got those rocket pod things, and then they can pick up your vehicles, which is pretty
Oh, okay.
funny.
Yeah, it's better than
So
nothing then.
yeah, I think they're a good addition to the Sentinels. But they don't. Yeah, you don't really get to interact with them much, so it's kind of a disappointment. I wish we got to see them a little bit more.
So, where would you put
Uh,
them?
Judging them against other Halo enemies, probably a C.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
They're not bad.
Okay, well, to counter a Sentinel pick, why don't we go ahead and do a Flood pick? I think this is the tank form of the Flood.
Yeah, looks like it.
They lumber around. If you let one get close enough to you, they'll kill you. But like, you can energy sword them to death. You can shotgun
Yeah,
them to death. You can deal with them fairly easily of all of the
yeah,
flood forms.
yeah. They're pretty scary till you realize you can brute shot melee or any brute weapon melee them in one hit to death, and they get pretty lame even on legendary.
One thing that they do that is really annoying is when they turn into a ranged form out of nowhere, and I hate that.
Yeah, yeah. The ranged form is very annoying.
So I'd say maybe these guys are D tier.
Yeah,
They're not
they're not the
great.
worst,
Yeah, but they're not like the worst.
and they are not flood hunters. That's a popular misconception that a lot of people seem to still think, but
I have
just
never
want to
once
put that
thought
out there.
that. Maybe it's a certain subset of people.
Perhaps.
All right, why don't you tell us about the Scarab since you had some
Um,
revelations that I had no idea about. Speaking of hunters.
the Scarab is actually, well, not only in the game files, technically an NPC, not a vehicle. It is
What?
filled with hunter worms. Yeah, it's an NPC coded to track the player at all times. That's why you can kind of get in it and kill all the enemies and then kind of steer it by walking in certain directions in Halo 3.
What?
Um,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's pretty neat.
So this
Um,
isn't Forerunner tech, or is it like Forerunner tech possessed by hunters?
it is Covenant tech, probably Forerunner derived like a lot of Covenant tech, but yeah, they just fill them with hunter worms to, I don't know, help them track or something, or help control the motor functions. Maybe I'm not certain.
Well, where would you rate them then?
I think the scarabs are a really great enemy. Maybe A or S tier.
Okay, so I'm actually inclined to say S tier after hearing that. That is Omega
Yeah,
based. I've been a
they
Halo
they are
fan
pretty.
like since I was a kid, and I had no idea that that was a thing. And that's just
Yeah,
just getting dropped on me as like a bomb. They're
yeah, they're
they're pretty
full of
fun to fight.
electrode.
They can be annoying, but like using them in Halo Wars is Omega fun, as we noted in
Yeah,
the vehicle tier list.
yeah, they are very cool in Halo War.
So yeah, I'm inclined to give them the S tier, honestly.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that too. I think they deserve it.
Hell yeah, dude. All right. So let's go talk about a jackal with a plasma shield, since they're separated from their sniper cousins. These guys are like
Um,
about as mid as it gets for enemies, really.
I mean, jackals are my favorite enemy type. So I'm a little biased. At least B tier, I'd say, for the purposes of this list.
Okay, so why is it you want to give them B tier? What are their redeeming qualities?
They're cool bird guys. They have a shield. They don't speak English in any of the Halo games until Halo Infinite because I don't know, they're just cool pirates and they don't have time to learn human languages or they
Hmm.
don't care to talk them. Um, but I just have always thought they're pretty neat.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm just biased towards them because I like dinosaurs and stuff. So
Well, I guess they would fit more in Turok almost with the way they look.
yeah, they do look kind of like a slug. Yeah,
I think if you're talking about gameplay purposes, the plasma pistol can drain your shields, and they kind of do
right.
that well. I think occasionally they get a needler, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah, majors, I believe. Get
And that can mess you up pretty bad. The shield kind of offers you a fun thing to either shoot around, maybe you're going to use a grenade against it, or
yeah,
like
it's pretty
maybe you'll hit
cool.
it direct impact with like an explosive. So it's kind of satisfying to shoot at them. I'm inclined to say they could get B tier after re-examining it.
Sure, yeah, B tier's probably good. They're
Okay.
not the best jackal. Um, I mean, I guess let's just get into it. Jackal snipers are, I would give them S tier. They can really mess you up. Um, they're annoying to fight until you kind of figure out how
Unless
to
you're in Halo
counteract
2,
them.
then that's
Yeah,
just ball busting.
they're pretty ball busting, pretty grueling in Halo 2. But
The first level of Halo 3,
I
they could mess you up pretty bad too.
I think they're pretty cool because it's kind of like a pretty weak enemy that you can just smack in the face if you're close to them, but it kind of shows that if you give them the right weapon and put them in a good position, they can cause a lot of damage.
And you're inclined to give them S tier.
Yeah,
So I
but
would say that.
without bias, I
What?
would give them probably A.
Okay.
But,
I'm in a more complicated position. I'm going to run through my feelings on the Jackal Sniper first before I give them a
hmm,
tier. I think that they're annoying to fight. More often than not, when I see these guys, I think to myself, fuck, I hope I have a ranged weapon because if I don't, I might be soft locking myself here.
right.
And like the just remembering the first level of Halo 3 and how much you can get just absolutely destroyed by these guys. And then
Yeah,
really like the second level of Halo 2 is just like that as well, except way more like on turbo drive.
hmm,
They often go from being like an annoying challenge to downright unfair.
hmm.
I do
I
like
guess, yeah.
killing them and getting a
Something.
carbine off of them or like a beam rifle. They drop good weapons.
Right.
So, and I mean, I kind of like the design of them. I like the idea that the Covenant has a dedicated sniper rather than just like elites doing everything.
Yeah.
So I guess they serve a purpose. But I would probably. I think the bad outweighs the good for them. So for me, I'd probably say D tier.
Ooh.
So if we're going to match D to A, that would probably put them like top of C.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm noticing that there's no skirmishers on this list. There's like nothing from Halo Reach actually, which is a little disappointing. Um,
Yeah. That's a little rough.
where
But honestly,
where
like,
would
we can just add it. And now we're back for real. So, I believe we left off with you talking about the Jackal Sniper, so why don't we go right into the Skirmisher then?
yeah, I think they were a really good addition to Halo in Reach. They are kind of like a bit hardier Jackal. They dodge a lot more. They are much more brave and fast, and
Do they
that kind of
replace
gives them a.
Jackal Snipers, or are they just there in addition to them? I can't
They're there
remember because
in
I haven't played
addition
Halo
to them.
Reach in a
Yeah.
long time.
I believe there are also skirmisher snipers as well. But it just kind of comes off. It ends up being a more intense, aggressive jackal in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of ways, and I think that's a pretty cool niche that they fill.
They do have an issue though,
Yeah.
in that any enemy added to Halo Reach, you ultimately have to ask the question, where was it in Halo any of the other ones?
Hmm. I think the best answer for that is the usual. Just we happen to not see them. Um,
Well, I mean, I
they
guess it's
weren't
a pretty
invented
big
yet.
conflict. They could have just not been
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I believe they were, usually said to be rarer if you're going by the lore, but I think it's fine to just introduce enemies that seem cool. But um,
Well, where would you rate them?
I would rate them again, being biased. Can we get at least A or B tier?
Okay. So, I mean, it's been probably like 6 or 7 years since I played through Halo Reach, I think, at this
Hmm.
point. Been quite a long time. I don't remember really liking or disliking these enemies. It's just something for you to shoot at. Like, the elites in Halo Reach were definitely the threat, more so than
Yeah,
anything, it
true.
felt like. I wouldn't. I just feel like I'd be in. I don't really care. I'm inclined to rate them C tier.
Yeah, see? Yeah, I could see that. Like, if you're not biased towards them, they are kind of middle of the road in a lot of ways.
I think you were
They're kind of
saying
like a,
B and A, maybe below the Jackal Shield.
sure, because they're just kind of a stepping stone between Brute or Elite and Jackal gameplay wise, so.
Mm-hmm. Why don't we go back to the Flood for a short time here with the infection? Well, this is just the infection form, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
they're fun to shoot at. They can kind
they,
of
they are
damage
fun to
you.
popcorn. Yeah. They're
You have to
kind of
worry
annoying
about them
like
infecting dead bodies, which
library.
I think is kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. That is a cool gameplay mechanic.
I mean,
Um,
there's not really much to say about them. They die really easily, but if
yeah,
you can't use power weapons against them really because there's so many of them. You're wasting
it
ammo.
makes me want some kind of automatic weapon on any flood level just to spray them every so often.
Yeah, this is where like the assault rifle actually really comes in handy. Is against things like
Yeah,
these. I would actually rate them kind of high. I like these guys. Like maybe even A
I
tier
think they're
for
pretty
me.
good too. Yeah, yeah, they might be. They they're unlike any other enemy in Halo. So
I mean, they represent the biggest threat in Halo as well, if you think about it.
yeah,
Because the Flood is what drives pretty much every plot point in Halo.
yeah, pretty much.
So I think they can get A tier. I wouldn't call them S tier, but like they're really cool.
Yeah,
Okay, and then they're might as well go to like what do you think? The Grunt seemed like a good
sure,
choice.
Grunt. Uh, I think the Grunt are probably. You could debate whether the Grunts or the Elites are the most iconic enemy of Halo. Because, like, everyone knows Grunts and what they sound like and that they're silly little
Their suicidal
funny things.
tendencies.
Yeah, they're little cowards, but sometimes they're brave or scared enough to, pop out two plasma grenades and
If you're
run at
playing
you.
Halo Wars, the suicide grunts are insane. I don't
Yeah,
know if
they're
you've ever done the
rough.
strat where you play as Arbiter, get the invisibility
Uh,
permanent buff, go behind the enemy base, teleport an entire army of suicide grunts, and just destroy
I
their
have not
base.
done that. No, I've just made an army of suicide grunts and then launched them places.
The teleportation meme with the invisibility really goes far. You can just completely annihilate somebody if you play it
Nice.
right. Especially if it's like not a 1v1. If you got like another person's army with you too, so like they come in while their base is destroyed.
Nice.
As far as like regular grunts though, which it's included under the umbrella of grunts here. Like these dudes, they get the plasma pistols, which are going to drain your shields. The
Yeah.
suiciders. I think Halo Reach had the most effective of the suiciders in particular. I always
Yeah, they're
remember dying to them a shit ton.
well because there's that one level where they'll always pop out the grenades in a
About
certain
halfway
section.
through, like Alexandria.
Yeah, I think it's part of New Alexandria.
Uh huh. Before you're in the Falcon, though, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That mission is tough, and these guys make it that way. So that can be a bit annoying.
Well,
When they have
nothing
the
like
needler, that's kind of cool.
yeah,
One-shotting them and like destroy. The way that their lore is really cool with like the methane tanks. They can't
yeah.
breathe
Like,
normal air.
they've got very sad lore.
Hmm
They were very abused by the Covenant.
I'd say that these guys are pretty cool, man. Like they got to be
I would
pretty
give them
high
S
up there,
tier.
right?
I think S tier for sure, or top of A tier.
I think I think they're actually not as good as the infection form, and here's why.
No,
Because of suicide grunts, just ruining your day in Halo
that's so
Reach.
annoying.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I can't. No, there's no way.
Alright,
That's the
alright.
only thing I have against them, but it's enough to make them not
Yeah,
S tier, in my opinion.
gotcha.
All right, why don't you pick the next one?
Um, let's just get Guilty Spark out of the way.
Okay,
Uh, maybe the worst boss battle of the Halo trilogy.
you just shoot him with the Spartan laser a couple times, and then it's good.
It might as well be scripted. There's only one way to kill him. Yeah,
Could have just been a
it
cutscene, you think?
could have just been a cutscene, pretty much. But the first time you play it, you're so angry that he just killed Johnson. It does feel really good to get to laser him.
Not only that,
I
but he's
gotta
always fucking you over too. Like I'm pretty sure he's in Halo 1 and 2. And like
Yeah,
he's always like trying to mess with you. And in Halo 1 he actively tries to kill you.
yeah. He tries to stop you all during the Maw and the later half of Halo Combat Evolved. So people,
He's got a nice
he's
British
annoying.
accent for some reason.
Yeah.
That's about it. I don't really have much positive to say about him.
Mm,
Maybe
I,
F
I
tier?
like the character performance that the
As
dude put
as far
in,
as an
but
enemy goes, he is pretty much F tier.
yeah, as an enemy, F tier.
And we're not doing a characters tier list, so
Yeah.
I think he earned it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to another flood form then, I think, if we're going to be talking about Guilty Spark.
Alright.
Is this its own form? Is this not just a ranged
Uh,
form?
is that a stalker form?
Oh, the ones that scurry around? Can
Yeah.
they even do damage to you?
I don't know if I've ever been damaged by one, so
Like
I'm not sure.
anytime they show up, I just like stab them with an energy sword and they just go down
Yeah.
instantly.
They might be able to attack you, but you
Although
just kill them so
they
fast you
do
barely
turn
move.
into ranged forms.
Which, yeah, very annoying. They turn into tanks also, also very annoying.
So like I don't know, like D tier probably. They're not really that great.
Yeah, they're probably the worst of the flood peer forms.
Would you put it in F tier?
No, because I think the ranged form is more annoying and deserves F tier.
Fair enough. Bottom of D tier, fine though.
Bottom of D.
Okay.
You want to put the ranged form in F tier while we're at it, since I
Oh yeah,
do you
no,
agree with
honestly,
that?
fuck the ranged form. Of all of the enemies in my Halo playthrough, this one caused the most seethe by far. Not even
Yeah, for
close.
sure. They're so annoying.
They're so tanky. Like they can
Yeah, they're
tank like
way
40, 50 carbine shots.
yeah, they're way too tanky for what they are, and they have crazy range on a fully automatic weapon. It's
Yeah, and it kills you in like 3 shots too.
yeah,
It's is it worse than Guilty Spark? Yes.
more annoying than Guilty Spark. Yeah. At least Guilty Spark didn't really annoy me.
Uh-huh.
So
Well, there you go. That decides that. Fuck the range
no,
flood form.
yeah,
In fact, I have a perfect name for this tier.
yeah, that's a good name.
We get rid of the dot. I don't think that's necessary. Just the capital will let you know what it's about.
Yeah,
Alright, let's move on to something that's not so terrible. How about the Hunters?
Hunters, another one of those just super iconic Halo CE enemies that got introduced and stood the test of time. I would say
Just Omega based, really.
very, very based.
It,
All the Let Go Low are based.
anything that they show up in are really cool. Like, even in Halo Wars 2, they're really cool.
Yeah,
And I don't really talk about
especially
Halo Wars 2 all that often.
yeah.
I'd say that they probably belong in S tier, right along the Scarab, right?
I'd put them above Scarab just because you encounter them so much more often in every Halo game.
Okay, I got a
So,
question for you before we do that. Not that I disagree. Why is it
yeah.
they fight in pairs when there are already like giant worm, or not giant, but just worm creatures working in a system together? Is
Well,
that
they take
Covenant doctrine, or is that like just something that happens when you have a bunch of worms working together that they seek out
I
another
think
colony?
that's about the size of a colony, so they're kind of like a pair bonded two parts of one colony, and there are hunter forms that are one big colony. But I
Yeah,
think
that
the
shows up in
Covenant
like Halo Legends, right?
yeah, I think the Covenant has maybe decided that it's best to split them into two so they're not so giant and they can still,
Well, I
be
do
used.
recall in the lore somewhere that elites like had to subjugate the hunters' world because they weren't going down without a fight.
Uh, yeah, you're probably right. Elites pretty much had to subjugate most of the Covenant races that weren't bought out, like the Jackals. I don't remember how the Brutes came under the umbrella. I think they were just kind of dumb enough to get swayed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just like war, so they're probably easily convinced, is my
Yeah.
guess.
Grunts fought back pretty badly till they got genocided,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, that was rough.
Okay, I think that it's fair to put hunters up there. They have an iconic weapon, shield,
Yeah,
attack pattern. They're cool in every single Halo game they're in, including Halo Wars 1
for
and
sure.
2.
Yeah,
They're cool in the outside lore. Like, you really couldn't ask for more from these guys. They show up
no,
often.
they are super cool.
Um, I think it's good to move on to someone who isn't super cool. Tartarus.
Hard. Um, of the two boss battles in Halo 2, Tartarus is the most annoying one because you have to rely on Johnson to break down his shields with a beam rifle to even do any damage to him, and you can't also take a beam rifle and break his shields. Or was it a carbine? I don't even care because
It's a
so
it's a
annoying.
beam rifle. I'm remembering the end of Halo 2.
Yeah, so that's a very lame, unfun mechanic to have to play around during that boss
It's
battle.
also a bing bing wahoo, I'm pretty sure. Like, you have to do it 3 times. Like, you don't just go through a shield once.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, is he worse than Guilty Spark's boss fight? No.
He's more annoying.
I mean, he's more annoying, but there's an actual boss fight there.
Yeah, I would put him above Guilty Spark's boss fight, probably.
Yeah, honestly. Okay. Well, I think we move on from him to someone who's a little less hated. How about the engineer?
Engineer, I think they're adorable. I think they're really cool. Their external lore is also really cool. Uh, they're just a pretty cool enemy. It's a shame they got cut from Halo C.
I heard that they introduced the chopper to the brutes because it was farming equipment, and the brutes were just like, "Oh, it's a weapon, nice."
That's pretty much. That sounds pretty brute like. Yeah.
I think the engineer makes a really good like the way they use it in Halo 3 ODST is pretty much perfect.
Hmm.
And then it kind of backpedals though and goes the other direction in Halo Reach because they just kind of ignore that aspect in Reach. Because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure there are still engineers in Halo Reach, are there not?
Yeah. They serve pretty similar functions where they're just kind of buffing the enemy team.
Well, I just mean it takes away kind of from the story of ODST. Like if you spent the whole time not killing any engineers to going to Reach, where it's
Yeah.
like kill engineers on site.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So I think for that reason they get maybe a bump down in my book. But in Halo Wars they're
Mm.
really cool. I like that they heal things.
Yeah. That makes them one of my favorite units.
So like I'm inclined to say either B or A. I could be convinced of either.
I mean, I really like them. They're one of my. I just think they're a really neat enemy because Virgil is such a cool character, and I almost hesitate to even call them an enemy because they're being pretty much forced to fight for
Yeah,
the
but they
Covenant.
do fight you in that Halo Reach
Yeah,
particularly, and maybe Halo Wars, like if you're fighting the Covenant.
yeah. So I mean, B or A. I think they they go good in
I don't
either
think they're
one.
more iconic than grunts. I'll put it that way.
No, for sure not.
I think they are a little more iconic than shield jackals, though. Maybe not even. Now that I've
Comic,
said
maybe
that,
not.
actually,
Probably bottom of B, maybe
I
above
think they're above
skirmishing.
skirmishers.
Yeah,
That
they're above skirmishing.
that much can
Yeah.
be true, but like shield jackals, come on. And then I don't know about that one.
All right.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our final sentinel, the sentinel.
Yeah.
You fight them like once in Halo 3 at the very end
Yeah,
of the campaign.
you fight them all throughout Halo. Well, a few times throughout Halo 2.
I
Um,
don't think they're even in Halo Reach at all, because that's pretty much just about the
mm,
Covenant.
yeah, I don't think they're in Halo Reach.
They
They've
are
been
in
a
Halo
few.
Wars 2. If you're playing Anders, you can use them, and they're pretty
Okay.
damn good too. That's like my favorite part about Halo Wars 2, honestly, is all the different Sentinels she has control of with Anders.
I never used as Anders.
I
I didn't
can't
play
remember if she was a
any.
DLC character or not. She might have been.
I think she is, but I just never used her.
Very much worth it in my opinion.
I'll have to try it out.
Um, I don't know where I'd really rate them. They're kind of superfluous. Oh,
They're better than the Enforcer Sentinel.
yeah, no, that's definitely true. Are they better than Jackal snipers? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
There you
I
go.
think
They're
that's
kind of
the best one.
forgettable. Like if you were gonna say to yourself, "What am I gonna forget in a Halo playthrough?" Sentinels.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's nice in a couple levels of Halo 2 how they keep dropping the um, Sentinel beams. Uh,
they run out of power too fast, though, in my
yeah, but
opinion.
it helps. There's so many of them and there's so many floods, you can just kind of keep replacing it. So that's pretty
Hmm.
nifty on those couple missions.
I suppose that's fair. Okay. How about let's do a flood then to counteract it. How about the host form? I guess would be this one.
Carrier form.
Carrier form. Okay. It kind of creates an interesting dichotomy of like, do you actually shoot these dudes?
Yeah,
Because you have the choice of shooting them or trying to run past them, but if you get too close, then they're gonna destroy themselves and cause you
yeah,
shield damage and spawn a whole shit ton of infection forms either
right.
way.
And sometimes even if you kill them with a plasma grenade or something, they can still spew out their infection forms, even though I think you're supposed to be able to neutralize them. So they can get kind of annoying, especially on legendary and especially in the library.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried Halo 1 on Legendary, although I imagine it's a little more fair than Halo 2.
Yeah, just as always, because iron is not stuck on.
That's so
Mm,
tough, man.
it's
I just what
so
the
rough to
fuck
work
were they
around.
thinking, man?
I don't know.
Like I'm just imagining doing that level where you're on the elevator in the ice for like 20
Mm.
minutes. And
I think even some Bungie devs said that they probably shouldn't have stuck iron on all the time. Oh,
oh man, so where do we want to rate these fellows? I mean, they're cool. I like the concept. It gives like a pathway for these dudes.
yeah. They might
Um,
be they might be in C tier above both of the Sentinels.
yeah, I
I
could be
think.
inclined to agree with that. That's fine with me.
Mhm.
Okay, how about the final boss of well, not the final boss of Halo 2, but of this tier list, Prophet of Regret from Halo 2.
Um, it's very funny to punch an old man to death.
Yeah, yeah, I like climbing up on his chair and like it is
Yeah,
like one of the only QTEs in the game if you think about it.
yeah, it really is.
And
It
it like QTEs aren't exactly a good mechanic, but they're used incredibly sparingly in Halo like
yeah.
1 through Reach. So,
It's basically just the vehicle boarding minigame as the end of a boss fight. So
mhm. And I think vehicle boarding is a fun thing. You don't really get to do all that
yeah,
often, so the
it's
fact they
cool to
include
get to
it's
do
kind
it.
of neat.
Yeah.
Also, his chair
But,
having fuel rod guns on it is kind of crazy.
right. There is
So,
a skull in Halo Master Chief Collection that its sole function is to play guitar riffs every time you punch the Prophet of Regret in Halo 2.
huh.
It's so silly.
I did not know that. Now, isn't the Prophet of Regret the one you play as in Halo Wars if you're doing skirmish?
Believe so,
He is
yeah.
incredibly fun to play as. Like, if you
Yeah, his
haven't done it, the
laughing
glassing
beams are
is
really
so much fun
yeah, it
with
is.
that particular ability. I think for that reason alone, I'd almost rate this thing B tier.
If we're in the Halo Wars version with him, then yeah, he's a good enemy leader. You know?
Like, I'd rate him above the skirmisher. I don't know about the engineer, but
Yeah, that's probably a good placement.
okay.
I'd say.
And then I'll let you pick the next one.
Uh, let's go with the combat form flood.
All right, the final flood of the tier list. This is
Yeah,
also the one that's probably putting in the most work and heavy lifting.
yeah. I'd say they're a pretty cool enemy. They're they just introduce an aspect of horror to Halo, like very suddenly in Combat Evolved, and
Yeah, the
I think it
atmosphere in
was
the
really well
library
done.
and like the set pieces leading up to it are pretty good.
Mhm.
With the
Yeah,
Marines like not knowing what the fuck is happening, and even the elites are just tripping out.
yeah. It's very cool how you can kill an enemy and then an infection form hops on them and they can turn into this thing.
hmm I
Uh,
um, I will say this: they do have a tendency to either be pushovers, like kind
mhm.
of threatening, or like
Yeah,
completely fucking annoying. They can really
yeah.
range all over the place. Like the rocket
Well,
launcher version of these dudes
yeah,
sucks
the
ass
rocket
to fight
launcher.
against in Halo
So,
2.
and Halo CE, they just always get me in the library in that one corner.
Um, like shotgun forms can one shot you pretty easily. I don't
Yeah.
usually have too big a problem against the energy sword variants.
No, they're not
Um,
as good with energy swords as an elite.
but like the ones that just have random guns, they can definitely get you and stump you pretty bad. I'd say that these dudes
Mhm.
are like probably B tier.
Yeah.
I'd say that they're probably the top of B tier though.
I would put them behind jackals,
Okay.
but
I mean,
I could be
jackals aren't going to
convinced.
be nearly as annoying like these dudes. They're not going to rocket lock you.
Right, yeah.
So I guess I'll agree in that sentiment.
Okay.
All right. Let's I think we'll do one of the big two and then leave drones in the middle. So I think we
Okay.
should do elites last. So let's do brutes
Yeah.
now.
I think they're so different throughout all the Halo games. It seemed like it was something that Bungie wasn't sure where they wanted to settle on the enemies. Like they're kind of slightly heavier but more erratic troopers in Halo 2, and the charging is very powerful
They're
on Legendary
do
especially.
they make a big deal of it.
Yeah, when they go rage, it can mess you up.
hmm Halo 3
And then
they
they're
replace the elites. They're all over
yeah,
the fucking place. And they
and
they
then in
can mess
Halo
you up
Reach,
there too. Don't forget
yeah,
that.
they definitely can.
They also introduced
When you reach,
the
it gets ugly.
chieftains in 3, the various forms of
Yeah,
them.
chieftains. I think the regular chieftain, the Gravhammer chieftain, is a one of the best enemies in Halo 3, probably.
Oh, it's really threatening when they're up close to you. You're like, I need to get away from this
Oh,
motherfucker.
they definitely scare you a lot.
The
Even the
fuel
war
rod gun
chieftains
one
up
can
there.
really fuck you
Yeah.
up too, though, if you're on the wrong end of it.
Even the plasma turret one.
Oh yeah,
They're very tough enemies.
yeah, no, definitely not messing around. I don't really remember them in Halo Reach so much. I know they show up near the end, but that's about it.
Yeah. No, they're just kind of there to be check a box almost.
Oh, I really like how they're handled in Halo Wars. How you don't see them unless you're specifically playing as the
Hmm.
brute leader. And
Right.
then if you do, you get access to the brute chopper instead of the ghost and a bunch of unique units. I think that
Yeah,
was a
that is pretty
really
cool.
nice touch.
It gives the whole game a broody makeover, like in the unit composition.
Yeah, and then of course the infamous brute rush. If you ever played like any online,
I have
and
not.
like 5 minutes into the game, an army of brutes comes for your base.
Hmm. The Grav Hammer Jetpack Brutes in Halo Wars 2, I think. Those are a pretty neat unit. So
What? I
I'm
don't
gonna give them
remember
credit for
them. That's
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's quite
Yeah,
the
maybe it
combination.
is.
Jetpack brutes aren't that threatening in Halo 3, but if they had a
No.
grab hammer too, that would make it a
Yeah.
little different.
I
It's
think
it's hard to
they're
say.
A.
You could
Maybe
either
the
put them in
bottom of
A
it.
or S.
They're not better than Grunt.
You don't think so?
I don't think.
Okay. I mean, they got a lot of variants going on, so that kind of helps
Yeah.
them over grunts, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess. I just think grunts are so iconic and fun.
Okay, I'll let you
That,
have that one. Honestly, it's
okay.
fine. How about we already said what we're gonna do, so we'll move on to drones next.
Drones, yeah.
I don't remember how they
Well,
were in Halo 2 pretty much at all. I don't think they were that big of a threat though.
they're not on Cairo Station. They're pretty annoying because it's the
Oh
first
yeah,
time you fight them,
I do
and
remember
there's
seeing them
so
there. But
many
you
of them
have
in
like
this
the
one
stationary
room.
machine gun. There are
Yeah.
places for you to dip and dive. You're not just completely overwhelmed.
Well, on the one mission, or on the one part of Cairo Station, when you're heading to the bomb, uh, there's a whole like atrium full of them, and they can really mess you up.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
In
That's the
Halo
biggest impact
3, they're
for me.
not so bad. I only died to them, I think, one time in my whole legendary playthrough.
Yeah, and then in Halo Reach, they're there for like one level.
Mm-hmm.
They're
I
pretty
think
important
they
in Halo
also
3
kind of show
ODST,
up with the
really.
brutes, don't they?
Yeah, they make like the most impact in Halo 3 ODST, where you have to fight a hive of them, and I thought that was pretty cool.
That level is nice, and the fact that they think you're going to use a flamethrower to kill them on legendary is fucking really funny.
I did.
I can't imagine using that short range weapon against these guys. It just doesn't work.
It it was doable. I had to rely on the Magnum quite a bit, also though.
Mm-hmm. Well, thankfully the pistol is unnerfed by ODST for a
Yeah.
change.
Oh yeah. ODST has a nice pistol.
It's kind of like having a carbine on deck like 24/7, except a
Pretty
little
much.
less
Yeah.
strong.
It's a very reliable headshot weapon.
Speaking of the carbine, man, ODST's carbine was like a godsend every time I found it.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Since there was no battle rifle, it yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, this isn't about the carbine, this is about the drone. I would say the
Yeah.
drone is a fun enemy to fight. They don't show up that often. They're not that threatening, though, so I'd rate
Yeah.
them like right above the Sentinel, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, honestly.
Okay. And then the final enemy, the Elite, I think you'd have to make a pretty hard case to say they're not the best enemy in Halo.
Yeah, they just are.
Like,
They
they
have as
have
many
an
different
amazing
forms.
design. They've been
Yeah.
in every Halo game, including ODST. They're dead elites. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they're really cool, man. They got the square jaw. They wear boots,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when Shipmaster's like, they will be crushed under our boots. And I'm like, wait, they have shoes on? And then in the cutscene at the end of the Covenant, you see Arbiter with his fucking boots on. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. No, they're just like the brutes, they're very diverse, but they're just the more iconic
Hmm.
original version.
Yeah, energy sword
Um,
over gravity hammer, like in terms of aesthetics, but in terms of gameplay, gravity
mhm.
hammer is better, I think.
Yeah, generally,
Um,
yeah,
I think their armors are cooler than the brutes.
for
Um,
sure. They're kind of like off-brand predators from AVP.
I do like the cloaking, like how much they lean into that. Whereas like
That is
brutes
pretty
have
cool.
one very tiny subsection of cloakers.
Mhm. Yeah, like a lot of the elite units can cloak. Yeah, especially the spec ops ones that will come in with an energy sword and really mess you up on a couple levels of Halo CE, especially.
Mm-hmm. You know, there's actually a book about one of the ones that you just unceremoniously kill, like right at the end of the level.
Wow.
And
Of
there's like a
course.
whole book leading up to that moment where you just smoke him.
So fun.
It's the one that spawns behind you right as you're like about to end a level with an energy
That is
sword.
like Star Wars level of glup shido, you know?
Uh huh. Yeah, just everyone has a backstory that leads to this
Everyone's
moment.
got a backstory. Yeah.
Um, I mean, what else can you really say about the elites? They pilot most of the good vehicles. They're the backbone of the Covenant until they aren't. The Civil War is a cool thing. It's fun to have them fight on your side in Halo 3.
They're the reason humanity isn't extinct. If they hadn't turned cloak on the prophets that had already turned the cloak on them,
I mean, they're also
humanity
the
would
reason humanity
all
is
gone.
almost extinct if you think about it.
True. They quit killing us, and then we started winning.
I mean that.
That's how important they are to the Covenant.
I mean, by the time of Halo 3, they're on Earth, so I don't know
Yeah.
how. Like, it's
Well, I
bad for
mean,
the
you know,
humans. I'll put it that way.
I mean, if they hadn't stopped, if the elites hadn't changed sides and stopped killing us and started killing the enemy, then yeah, it was game over for the humans.
Hmm. Perhaps. I'm not really sure. I'm inclined to say the humans were fucked either way, pretty much. Like
Yeah,
the
no,
thing that really destroyed the Covenant was just the whole fact that their society is built on a lie.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
Uh huh. Um, I think this is a pretty good list, honestly. I don't think it's really
I
that
think
controversial either.
no,
Like
like I
we,
like the jackals a bit more than the average person, but
uh huh. I think this is
that's my
pretty
only
much if you
complaint.
ask someone who liked Halo, this is probably what they would give you.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fair and accurate.
And if you're wondering where the Halo 4, 5, and Infinite enemies, those games don't exist.
Yeah,
In Grave Mind, you never fight him, so I'm not counting him.
you told me that in Halo 3 you fight Gravemind, and then when we beat it together or whatever, I'm like, he lied to me.
Did
I
I
don't
say
know why
that
you
to you?
told me.
Because I don't remember
You
saying
told
that
me
to you
that when we were
ever.
first playing Halo.
Huh.
I believed you, man.
Yeah, I don't remember doing that one, but
You know,
things happen, I guess. Um,
I just remembered that. Sorry for putting you on the spot and calling you out, but
no, it's cool. I'm sure I made up some things here and there back in the day.
you
Um,
were just thinking of me. So
I don't know. I probably thought it would have been more cool if you do.
maybe you were wishing and you're trying to manifest it. Yeah,
Yeah, who knows, honestly. I was like, when we were playing Halo 3 back in the day, we were also like 9 and 10, so
true. We were very young.
I didn't even own Halo 3 until I got it free with gold, first off.
Oh, wow,
I rented it, like, back in the day, and then that's how I beat it, was, like, at the local video store.
nice.
Um, so yeah, I think it's a pretty good list. Thanks for joining me,
Yeah,
Bishop. I
yeah, no
appreciate you
problem.
coming on for the tier list. It's been a good time having you.
Thanks for coming in. Yeah, always fun.
Yeah, and so I think we'll just call it there because otherwise we're just waffling a bit. I think we've said everything that
Pretty
needs to be
much.
said. So
Yeah,
if you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, have a nice one.
yeah. See you guys. Hope you have a good time watching it.